Welcome to Garrett's Garage, the scurviest channel in all the 7 seas. Hey, Jim. So today we're going to be taking a look at my 1951 Oldsmobile, and we're going to be checking out the steering links. I'm going to kind of take a look at the brakes maybe. Going to pull the hubcap off and check out the wheel bearing. I'm able to get a little wiggle when I don't know if you can hear that, but I've got a little bit of a wiggle, and it seems like it's coming from here. So it might improve once I grease everything here. I'm not sure what that's called. Is that a kingpin? I'm not sure. Anyway, everything else seems pretty good. The steering, when I cycle it back and forth here, it feels like there's a little bit of play in the steering box. All of these links look like they're pretty good and tight. Again, they'll probably improve a bit with a good chassis greasing. I have a grease gun here, of course, from Harbor Freight. I just don't have the little cartridges that it needs. I have to order some of those. Amazon, here I come. I was not looking for another car when I happened upon this beast. Let me get some sort of pry tool to get this hubcap off. Okay, I found a nice plastic pry tool. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. And there we go. That's a really nice condition. I'll polish this before I put it back on. And what do we got here? Okay, all the lug nuts are there. That's a good sign. The wheel's a little bit rusty, to be expected. And what do we got here? All right. Oh, here's one. Here's a lug nut that's not tight. All of the rest of them are at least better than finger tight. Okay, so I'm going to get a screwdriver and pop off this cover over the wheel bearing. Certainly looks like it's been reinstalled by someone a little bit extra vigorously. Usually you would hope to put this on without denting it. Come on, not quite. Okay, a little more. There we go. There it is. Okay, so it's a good idea to put grease on the inside of this to keep it from corroding. So I'm going to clean this out and apply fresh grease before replacing it. And, well, it doesn't look terrible. I think I'm going to pull the cotter pin and check to see how this adjustment on this wheel bearing feels. Well, here's something I'm not used to seeing. All of these studs have an L stamped in the end of them, and they are reverse thread. So instead of righty-tighty, it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So that's a good thing to know, so I'll have to keep track of which side of the car my lug nuts are coming from. Old-timey cars. So everything checks out pretty good. You can see someone's been in here recently. There's a new, looks like a new attachment point for the brake pedal. There's a new switch right there for the brake lights that apparently must work. I haven't checked them yet. So there's also some new brake lines here Let's see, yeah. There's some new brake lines. So somebody's been at this fairly recently. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and take off the other 3 hubcaps, wheels, tires, and just have a look, and then maybe paint the wheels, because that's important. If you've ever worked on an old car, you know they have a smell all their own. The old grease, it has such a different kind of smell. Anyway, this is what I've done. This hubcap I need to wipe down one more time maybe, but I polished it for just a minute or so, and I used some of this stuff, and I used a little wheel on my drill, and it starts out looking like this, ends up looking like this. A lot better, not perfect, that's all right. It's gonna start looking like someone actually loves this car. Who cares if it runs, right? I mean, you gotta get to the important stuff first. Well, now I'm going to attempt to take off this skirt here, and it may be a disaster because it looks like there's a lot of rust up there. So take this off. I'm going to have to push this up in order to let it spring away. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that wanted to get off there real quick, as you see. Oh, that's not nearly as bad as I was expecting. Wow. So the worst spot we could see, pretty much. More reverse threads, and if I go around and try them all, they all feel at least finger tight, except for this one. Yeah, so that's a little troubling. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the back tire here. Well, now that the skirt's off everywhere here, I can feel behind here, and that's metal. I can feel all the way back to the back side here. And then right about here, suddenly something happens, and I can't feel the back anymore. It is full of filler. So I think from about here on, it's all Bondo, because I can't get my fingertip in behind here hardly at all. It's like an inch thick of filler, and like here, it's almost just straight up. So total Bondo filler all the way across until we get right here, and then we get back to regular metal. So all of this was done before it made it through here, would be my speculation. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Let me pull this brake drum off. Okay, there we go. And I gotta say, it looks decent. Yeah. Seems reasonable. The pads themselves, I've definitely seen better and worse. But they're perfectly serviceable, and the rest of this looks pretty good. I'm Not that surprised, because it looks like someone's monkeyed with these brakes recently. So, okay, good to know. Before, after. It's better than it was. I'll bet in all of its 72 years, no one has ever washed the inside of its wheels before. That ends today. Sometimes you have to let the air out of the tire in order for your cards to be able to be easily inserted. That's better. Body color wheels, yeah. Polished hubcaps. Now it really is starting to look like someone loves it. Well, there we have it. I'll be putting this skirt back on, and I am very pleased that the brakes checked out pretty good. The suspension, not very sus. It all looks completely passable. So maybe tomorrow I'll begin. I have a plan for restoring the paint on this car. So maybe I'll start that tomorrow, or maybe I'll actually try to make it run better. That might be good too. We'll have to see. Thanks for watching.